G'day ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome to the premium tank review for the M8A1 75mm gun motor carriage M8. This is the premium tank that was available in the recent Marathon Christmas event, and, well, it's a bit of an interesting machine. So, first things first, we're going to go through a quick overview of its capabilities and what it's got, and then we'll go into a battle. So, the first thing to talk about with this tank is the gun. We'll get this out of the way first. It's a 75mm M3 cannon. Now, the 75mm M3 first shows up on the M4A1 Sherman at battle rating 3.3, and is still in service all the way at battle rating 5.3 on the assault gun M4A3E2. So, it's not a bad gun. Now, the M8 is only battle rating 2. What this means, if we go through to modifications, we'll have a look at the ammunition. We've got M61 shot is the ammunition that I use for this. It's an armor-piercing composite ballistic cap shell. This shell has 93mm of penetration at 10 meters. At 1,000 meters, you're still looking at 70mm of penetration. At battle rating 2, this tank, barring a few very small exceptions, can penetrate any tank that it can face in its battle rating from any angle at pretty much any range. Now, the second thing to note with this vehicle is it is a tank destroyer, so you'll notice no artillery strike capability. However, it is based on a light tank, so it does get 2 respawns. Now, it does have a secondary weapon, 12.7mm Browning heavy machine gun. And now, this 50 caliber machine gun is actually bugged in-game at the moment. If you don't load an M72 shell in as the very first shell that appears in the breach when you start the game, or is loaded in at the start of the game, this machine gun will not work. My current loadout is a full deck of M61 shots, so my 12.7 does not operate. I'd need to put in one M72 to get the 12.7s to actually work. However, if you do that, the 12.7s work fine. So, that's armament spoken about. What about speed? Well, this thing is listed at 56 kilometers an hour top speed. I've actually had it over 60, but it does need a slight downhill in order to do it. It is fast. It accelerates quickly. This thing can shift and move easily as it needs to. Now, it's also a fairly tall tank design with a fairly thin body. This would generally mean it would be fairly unstable to drive. It would fall over a lot. It's not really the case. I've actually had to put in a fairly serious effort to try and get this tank to tip over, and the one time I managed to pull it off, I was able to rewrite it on its own with very little issue. Now, it does have some problems with its suspension. Hitting small rocks and stuff will make this tank jump and flip and change direction all over the place, but there are other tanks that have similar problems with it. It's an issue with the physics and the way suspensions work in War Thunder at the moment. That said, it may jump around and bounce. I've had this thing pull mid-air 180s, hitting a sharp enough hill, but it really took a lot of work to get it to tip. And that's because there's no weight actually in the top section of the tank. So it has pretty much the most powerful gun at its battle rating, so let's have a look at a few other things with it. We'll check its armor first. Now, there's pretty much nothing to see here. The armor here, 28.5mm thick, effective sloping, 43 to 44 directly from the front despite the lean back. Most tanks in the game can penetrate that. In fact, this tank can be penetrated almost anywhere from any angle itself. There is a couple of small exceptions. Around the sides of the turret, the tracks are mounted. Now, these only give 10mm of armor, so you wouldn't think anything of them, but they react like spaced armor around the outside of the tank. So heat shells or anything to the side of the tank, I don't know why you would use heat here, but if you happen to, if you hit one of these tracks, it won't do anything. Spaced armor completely nullifies it. I have seen AP shells slam into these on the side and break the tracks and not actually penetrate the main turret armor, so it's possible that these will also react there. Don't aim at them. If you're going to shoot the thing from the side, well, if you're going to shoot it from the side, shoot it in the hull, but we'll come to that in a moment. Now, the front of the turret, the mantlet. This is where things... There is something a little interesting here. The main armor here is only 38 with a 55 effective thickness, so that's easily penetratable. The mantlet itself is 38 with an effective 42 at its highest point, and goes down to between 42 and 43 across the mantlet itself. However, if you look closely, you'll see there's an overlap between the two. If you go back to the rear armor, there's a hole through the center. Mantlet covers it, but there's a lip around the outside, just through here. Now, it doesn't look like much, but it's effectively double thickness, and the mantlet acts like spaced armour over the secondary armour. This section here and this section here, where the armour for the two overlap, sits right on the hitboxes for where the commander and the gunner stand inside of the turret. Aiming and trying to take out the crew members from the front in this tank, it's actually rather unlikely that you'll manage to do it. However, if you just aim for the gun and break the gun, that will break very easily, and it's quite easily to penetrate the mantlet and actually hit the breach inside. To show you what I mean, let's have a look at the internals. Hitbox for the commander, hitbox for the gunner, right where the armour was sitting, and then you've got the breach and of course the cannon barrel. Now part of the reason why this tank is so stable and very hard to tip over is you'll notice there is nothing else in the turret at all, and that's why you don't bother shooting with these side pieces that act like spaced armour. There's nothing in there. You can destroy the breach and destroy the cannon, you can kill the gunner and the commander. It will increase the loading times and it will require that the gun be damaged, so it will take the tank out of battle temporarily, but that's all it'll do. You can't actually kill this thing by putting shots into the turret. You've got to put them into the hull. The ammo racks, engine, fuel tanks, gunner and loader are incredibly low. Everything that you need to kill the tank is in this section of it, and this is where the actual height of the tank comes into an advantage. Because this thing is so fast, able to shift and pick its location so easily, and there's nothing in the turret that can actually be killed with a direct attack from the front having double-spaced armour over the main gunner and loader, you can hull down this tank very easily. Put the entire hull beside a ridge, and you can't kill it. If the tank driver puts the M8 behind a ridge, so you do not have line of sight to the hull, and you are not able to put shots in here, you will be unable to kill this tank with AP. Now, a HE shell directly into the top section of the tank would kill it. However, I found HE to the front tends not to. Why? Well, HE, if you've seen how it operates in game when it detonates on the hull armour, tends to spall, and the spall tends to take out internal components. So the explosion does some, but it's mainly the shrapnel damage that really finishes tanks off. Direct hits from the front of the turret on this tank tend to cause shrapnel that goes straight out the back of the tank. It'll take out the gun breech, it'll take out the commander and the gunner if they happen to have survived. Sometimes it'll take out the turret ring, and that's it. It goes straight out the back of the tank, and nothing vital gets hit. You have to put shots into the hull to kill this tank. Specifically, you want to aim for the midsection of the tank, because then you've got ammo racks, you've got fuel tanks, you've got radiators, you've got large solid objects that you can smear shrapnel off to rip through the inside of the tank. Direct shots to the front center of the tank will detonate an ammo rack that'll take out the driver and the machine gunner. So this is where you want to shoot here. Don't bother up here. Unless you're trying to damage the gun and take the gun out of commission, don't bother shooting up here. You will not kill this tank. So, that's enough talking about the tank itself and, well, where everything is on it and why it's so dangerous. Let's go and show you what it's actually capable of doing. So, M8A1 Simulation Battle Mode. We're on the jungle map. The capture point is point A in the dead center of the map. We're about 2 minutes into the game and the Germans have already started capturing it. I've actually headed for the large ridge mound to the north side, and I'm going to demonstrate the hull down capabilities of this tank and what it can do. Panzer IV in the cap circle, shots away, first hit, breaks through, spalls, rips apart half the internal components, already reloaded, second shell goes in, ricochets off the lower armour, destroyed the transmission. I have received a return fire shot, it took out a tree, got into my way, so just move forward a little. Now we have another tank coming in, so I've got to be fast here, aim again, straight through the front, tank destroyed. Alright, took 3 hits, but every single one was penetrating. Another one, straight through the front, critical damage to all internal components, line up the next shot, goes through again. I was a little too far to the right on this one, so that one just got eaten by the tracks. Aim a little higher, set him on fire, destroy the transmission tunnel, kill the driver, set him on fire, burn him out and destroy him. 2 kills. Now keep in mind, it looks like I'm actually quite exposed sitting up here, but I'm actually not. Due to the height of the tank and the fact that I'm attacking targets that are actually lower than me, all they can see is the front of my turret. They cannot see the hull of my tank at all. So, Got another tank over here. Unsure if this is an AI or not. I'll find out in a second. One shot and it was an AI. So that gets rid of him. If there's one, there's probably two though. So just have a look around. Keeping eyes open. And oop, there's another one. I'm guessing this one will be an AI as well. Put that through. Set him on fire. Alright, we'll put an extra shot into him. And there we go. That gets rid of 2 AI. So 2 player kills, 2 AI now. Now just rolling forward a bit here, I want to take a look around the side of this pillbox and see if I can get shots on anything that might be trying to get an angle on this ridge line, and that's when I realise we're still losing out here. We've got blue tanks in the cap circle, but we haven't actually recapped it, which means there's somebody else in there, somebody else that's alive. And yep, that's not a dead tank, that's still there, it's an alive tank. Shell goes over the top, and it's a stug. Alright, this is one of the few times you'll ever see a ricochet. That was a bounce off the front of the stug, just due to the angle of attack, and I've just lost my gun. And there's 2 things that are incredibly dangerous to this tank because it's open topped. First things first, AAA vehicles. With their high rate of fire, spraying in the front and all over the turret, they will damage the guns and take out your gunner and loaders, or your gunner and your commander rather, very, very, very easily. When you see one of those, kill it in a hurry, it can keep you disabled pretty much permanently. The second thing is artillery fire. Because this tank has no roof, it has absolutely no defense from above, even nearby artillery strikes can kill your tank. Now the M3 Lee I was auto-squatted with saw that I was under a bit of fire. He's pulled in to put some shots towards the artillery vehicle and given me the time I needed to get my gun repaired. I didn't actually lose either of the crew members, just lost the gun. Take aim. Over the top of the stug again, just misjudged distance wrong, but the reload on this thing is not particularly long. Aim a little lower this time. There we go. One shot the stug. Just waiting for the smoke to clear so I can see whether or not there's something else in there. That's one of ours, so I don't need to worry about that. And we seem to be capping the zone, so that was the last enemy vehicle in the cap point. Alright, now I've got to deal with this AAA vehicle, because he pissed me off, he broke my gun. There he is there, zoom in. First shot, take out his gunner, don't do any critical damage, though you've got to aim lower on this thing, so I'll put it down below, smack it off the back of the engine block, and there we go, AAA vehicle destroyed as well. Now I do appear to have taken some damage from somewhere, I'm not entirely sure from where, so I'm going to back it down this hill again and put it into another repair cycle. I've still got an M3 Lee that's giving me cover up here at the moment, so I can back this tank off. I afford to take the time and make sure whatever's broken, I'm not even entirely sure what is broken at this point, is in operational order. It's only going to take 5 seconds. Alright, that fixes that up. Time to get back up this ridge. I'm going to move over and park up next to the M3 Lee. He's taking shots from somewhere, so there's something down there that's killable. And, oh, that looks like a Panzer IV. Unfortunately, I wasn't fast enough getting into position to take him out, and he's managed to take out the M3 Lee. So I'm just scanning the horizon line at the moment. There's something else down there. I know the Panzer IV's coming, but he's going to take some time to get around the rear, so I'll put a shot into whatever's over in this direction first. Semi-blind shot lights a Panzer IV on fire, so that should prevent him from continuing to put the sparks on. And we got this other Panzer IV here. I'm just backed off and waiting for it. It's going to climb a slope. It's going to climb up to this gun. Okay, that's fine, I'll wait. First shot, straight through the front, damage the gun. Not enough to take it out completely, wait for the second shot, put one in from underneath, set it on fire. Now that shot took out the transmission and the driver, so it's now immobilized. Put another shot through the bottom, light it on fire again. Oh, he's managed to get it going and roll it back down, so I'll put another one in, take out the driver again, once again immobilizing the tank. I'm not getting a shot into the ammo racks from here, so I'll drive around the side, put one in the side, light it on fire again. He's got to be out of extinguishers by this point. Put one in, set it on fire again. This guy just didn't want to die. Now he gets a shot back at me there and sets me on fire, so I quickly pop the extinguishers to put it out. Line up, put one through the front. Alright, that shuts him down. Through the ammo rack, that time he's dead. And the fire hasn't done any noticeable damage to my tank, so the extinguishers have put it out, and I'm going to change direction. Obviously I'm getting way too much attention over at this point. We've now capped the center circle. Time for a change in location. Or at least that was the plan until my freshly returned M3 Lee squad mate happened to run across the centre of the map and spotted another tank that was hidden between me and the cap circle. I haven't got a location on exactly where it is, but it was firing shots through the centre and it was retreating back to its side, and I don't want to give this thing my side. Oh, there he is, and he's already pre-aimed on me, thinking he might have been waiting for me a little bit. Fire a shot and his tracks eat it. Okay. You think a shell this size hitting a tank that small, it would rip the tracks off the side of the tank, but apparently not. But that's alright, I'll put one straight through the front and I'll just kill him. Problem solved. So from this point I relocated to the cap circle, but the battle was pretty much over. The enemy team was almost out of tanks. They only had 2 left, and those guys were not particularly interested in trying to stop the cap at this point. So, on to the results. So, first place for the team, 6 kills, 2 AI kills and 1 assist. Got Multi-Strike X2, Adamant, Professional X5, Shadow Strike X2, Windstreak X4, One Shot, The Best Squad, and Anti-Mech, 19,306 Silver Lions, and this tank managed to pull in 4,256 research points on a double, which as you can see put a fairly noticeable chunk off the M8A1 Era 3 Sherman using an Era 1 premium tank. So for our second battle we're on Poland, and this time I've brought Grievous along with me. Yes, he has come back since the BRs were adjusted for the jets and things went back to some level of sanity. This is actually his first match ever driving a US tank, and there's my first shot. Panzer 38T on fire, destroyed transmission. It's rolled to a stop behind the building, so I'm going to go through for the kill. Now Grievous is driving the reserved Stuart, obviously, as this is his first tank battle. He has nothing unlocked at all. And there's 38T. Put one into its side, set it on fire again, destroy the engine. That hasn't killed it. Put one in the back of the turret, that takes it out, and it's a player tank too. So there we go, first kill of the match. So a couple of minutes later, I've set up a sniper position just a little bit further up the road, firing through the fence line, and I spot this tank. Now, I was trying to work out exactly what the hell was happening here, and this is a glitch that they've got to fix for this reason. Tank driving across an open field, putting shots into it, watching the shells go through, and this was really starting to frustrate me. Why the hell is this tank not dying? Because this tank's already dead. At the time I didn't notice the blown over commander's hatch, so that was a waste of ammunition. Now Grievous has pulled in behind me to give me cover, but somebody's managed to sneak around behind us, and this is the first either one of us ever noticed. So just bring the tank around, plug one straight into its front. Oh, we got artillery coming in. Shot in the mid, set him on fire. Got to advance out of that. I can't let that artillery come down on top of me. His gun's disabled, he's burning. Put one more into him and reset him on fire. Anyone else noticing how regularly this gun seems to be able to put enemy tanks on fire? Put one more shell in, and that was basically a just put the poor bastard down. Now Grievous has found a target to engage out by the lake. However, I've found 2 targets right ahead of me. Now 2 tanks on either side of this building. First shot in, slams through, destroys the turret ring, doesn't set him on fire this time. That was a surprise, and we've got another one coming in from the right. So I'm about to engage 2 Panzer IVs at the same time. And I've got no cover here. Let's see. Oh, I got slightly damaged. Smash it through the front of the turret, take out the gunner, destroy the breach. One into the rear, and a bounce. That's rare. So we'll put one more in there just to be sure. Destroy the turret ring. Oh, he's backing off. I've got to reload. I'm just trying to get an aim. No, he's too far back. Alright, we'll put one into this one instead. Alright, you. Just line up the shot. Through low. Set him on fire. So how did I survive that? Well, the Panzer IV that I just set on fire was actually shooting... Well, he had the right idea. He was trying to find one of my ammo racks. However, the ammo racks do not sit where you would expect them to in a tank like this, which is why he ended up taking out my machine gunner. He was shooting for a left-hand side ammo rack that wasn't there. If he had shot slightly to the right of the machine gunner and aimed for the dead centre, he would have taken me out. And speaking of taking things out, roll around the corner and one shot a Panzer IIc. It turns out there were 2 tanks on the right hand side of the building. Take out the Panzer IV next. Grievous sets a Panzer IIc on fire on the other side of the map. I put one extra shell into the Panzer II here, just to confirm that it is dead. I missed it on the kill feed. And then I'm heading back towards Grievous. Now he's fine, he's just taking out the tank he was engaging, but he's just let me know that there is potentially one or two more incoming, so I'm moving into a position where I can support him. Now I'm pretty sure the Panzer IIc that he's taken out was actually the one I set on fire before, and just judging from the despawn there, I would say it was. Grievous is back behind the buildings at the moment, just repairing a little bit of damage that he took, and I'm trying to work out where to put this thing next. I decide to go heavily offensive and push out the other side of the town. This hill directly in front of me at the moment has at least 2 enemy tanks on the far side of it that are currently unspotted. So we're going to push out here, I'm going to try and eliminate both of those and then cut back into the town for cover. Just checking the ridgeline, I want to see whether or not these guys actually want to come over the top of the ridge and make this really easy for me. I am being very cautious about driving out there because it is completely open. There is no cover, or there is nothing for me to hide behind except this ridge itself. And why this tank is a monster at going hull down, there is a tank on the other side, at least one or two, that are hull down as well. So we got one tank moving across an open field that I've spotted at the moment, just trying to get around a little bit here so I can get a good firing position on it, while keeping the hill in between me and the tanks that are on the other side. Take the lead, and it looks like I missed that shot. Alright, we'll try that again. Re-aim. Oh, he's turned. And track seed it. It was actually a shot from Grievous that set him on fire then, and Grievous is further back than I am. Straight through the back of the turret, that disabled all its weapons capabilities. Take the opportunity to adjust the angle of attack on the tank, climb the hill a little bit so I can get a down angle. Also gives me a little bit more hull down on this ridge line to my right hand side from any shots that might be coming in from their cap circle, or from their spawn point rather. Straight through the back of the tank, and takes it out. Okay, with him eliminated, checking for targets. There is shots coming in from their spawn point. I don't really want to go down there and camp their spawn. I don't really need to. I've got targets on this ridge to my right that are starting to appear, so I'm going to go for them first. I've got one dead tank here. I can ignore him. I was just double checking to make sure it just wasn't painted black. And here we go. Alright, let the gun align. Straight through the front, on fire again, and ammo rack detonation. He's out. I've lost count how many kills that is now. Now Grievous has just let me know that he's ran into a Panzer in town that's giving him a few issues at the moment. He's ducking in and out of the buildings to avoid shots from it. I'm seeing the shots coming in from their spawn point, coming in from behind, so just doing a quick check of the hill line. I want to make sure when I turn this thing around I'm not going to get shot in the arse and set on fire. Nothing appears to be there, however. The only tank that's lit up anywhere on markers is to the north at the moment, on the other side or north section of the town, north central map, and he is well out of gun range, so I'm going to dip down into the town and give Grievous my cover. So, now I can see Grievous. He looks like he's engaging something that I can't see at the moment, so he's putting shots in this direction. I'm just moving in to follow him at the moment. I was just about to break past when I spot this off to my right, so I've got another target to go for first. Slam straight through the fence, align the gun. Panzer IV. Straight through the side. Take out the gunner, take out the turret ring. Right then the match ends, and I line him up and get a last minute snapshot in before it's all over, and that actually records me a kill. So, first place for the team with 7 kills and 1 assist. Grievous comes in with 4 and 1. Avenger X2, Teamwork, Adamant, Professional ×6, Shadow Strike Streak 4, Multi-Strike 3, Ground Win Streak, One Shot, The Best Squad, Anti-Mech 21,376, and we're looking at 2,086 research points. Using, again, an Era 1 Premium, researching an Era 3 tank. So, the M8A1. I think it's pretty well known that I'm not the best tank driver in War Thunder, and yet to be able to pull off kill scores like that so easily, with so few matches in this machine without getting killed myself, in simulation battle mode, I think it might be a little under-tiered. Anyways, ladies and gents, I'm going to call this one here. Click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more. Drive smart, drive safe, and I'll catch you on the battlefield.